And we are live on YouTube.
All right. Well, welcome out there in YouTube land to our reading of Father Brown. We have a very small cast this evening for this lovely television episode. We did have a larger cast to start with, but conflicts of interest and such have made some folks not able to appear. So we're going to plot on through with the four of us. I think we'll have a great time. For those of you unfamiliar with this show, Father Brown is a murder mystery. Father Brown, obviously, is a priest, Catholic priest in this case, living in a parish of Kembleford, England, a fictitious little village. And in this particular episode, we will meet an Anglican vicar also named Wilfred, and they're going to have a little party. And of course, somebody will die because this is a murder mystery. And we'll meet the Father Brown's lovely cohorts, the Mrs. McCarthy, the parish secretary. We'll meet Susie, a cleaner. We'll meet a couple of, another recurring character, Lady Felicia, the sort of wealthy socialite that is friends with Father Brown. And then a number of guest stars for this show. So, a number of other guest stars. Oh, and of course the Inspector Valentine, the official police detective who always seems to arrest the wrong person for the wrong reasons. So, that'll give you a bit hint then that who he arrests is probably not the actual murderer. All right, so we're going to go through some introductions here, and then we'll get going with our script. So I'll start with Vicky. If you could let us know names, pronouns, where you're at in the world, who you're playing, and where folks can find you on social media.
Hi, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm a she/her. You can find me in Penhold, Alberta, in Canada. Tonight I am Father Brown, and I will be reading some actions and descriptions in a couple of places. And you can find me on Facebook. I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm also on Instagram. I'm Yoga Grandma 10, and on Threads as Yoga Grandma 10.
Also, all right. Let's go down to Heather.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor and a writer, independent filmmaker from Lethbridge, Alberta. My pronouns are she, her. Again, I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta. It's close to the border, if you don't know. Tonight, I will be playing Mrs. McCarthy, Elizabeth Phillip, and reading some actions and descriptions. I'm represented by Faces of Wendy, by the way, for my acting, and you can find me on Facebook under Heather Lee Cameron or Heather Lee Freelancer, on Instagram under Heather Lee Cameron, on YouTube under the Storm and Latter-day Saints, and honestly, I'm everywhere. Just I had a recent project come out, but I can talk about that later.
All right, yes, we'll look forward to that after our reading. Let's see, Julie.
Hi, my name is Julia Kulik. I am in a little north of Seattle. She, her, and you can find me on the Instagram at Sandpipers Design.
Awesome. And who you're playing tonight, did you say?
Oh, yes, and I'm playing Wilfred, Susie, and Simeon. Simon.
I think it's Simeon. I'm not sure
Simeon,
exactly. Yeah, it's an odd name. All right. And I am Kat Wilson, she, her, in Gig Harbor, Washington, just a little bit south of where Julie is at. And tonight I'll be playing, let's see, who am I playing? Lady Felicia, Inspector Valentine, and Norman, the CAD, and a couple of actions and descriptions as well. All right. So let's get that show on the road here. I'm just pull up my script and we'll get reading. So share, find the right script. Where did I put it? There it is. And I'll have to make it larger for you guys here in a sec. So, because I know it's pretty small at the moment. Let's get that way. Let's get it like so. Oops.
Yeah, that's small.
I know, it is small. All right, and then Let's see.
Much
Oh,
better.
that's probably too big there.
That's too
That's
big.
too big.
Yeah.
All right, can you still see from both sides of the
Yeah.
script? Okay,
Mhm.
so this script for you guys out there is unusual in the sense that all of the actions and descriptions are in all caps, which can be a little tough for the eyes to read here. But it is also nicely laid out with scenes and accent scenes, so not all scripts have that. And unusual for this script, after each announcement of each episode and scene, that lists all the characters in that scene. So we won't read those character names out loud, but just for you out there, if you're watching along, you'll know who's coming up in that scene. So, and there is no title page for this, but looks like it was a shooting script. So January 2013, and we're starting off with me with actions and descriptions. All right, y'all ready out there?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Episode 1, The Hammer of God, 22nd January 2013. Interior Smithy's house, bedroom day. Norman buttons his shirt, admiring himself in a full-length mirror, his trousers off, while Elizabeth sits on the bed, her knees pulled up to her chin, wearing a desolate expression. Norman Bohun, 35, handsome, narcissistic, a swagger about him even when he's standing still. Elizabeth Barnes, 25, beautiful, petite, and fragile. She notices the overturned photograph. She sets it upright, stares at the picture of herself and Simeon, embracing. Guilt-stricken, she puts it back down, spots Norman smiling at her in the mirror. She glares at him, looks away, full of self-loathing.
How many more times?
Oh, 2 more should square it.
1.
You know what they did in the Old Testament to people who reneged on their debts? Stone them to death. Cave their heads in.
That's not true.
Oh, take a look.
I don't need to. Unlike you, I've read it.
Oh, I bet. Cover to cover. Good little Catholic girl. He picks up his trousers from the floor. His wallet slips out, falling underneath the bed. Neither Norman nor Elizabeth spot it, and he pulls on his trousers. You're just being a good wife, remember? And she nods, stifling tears. Let me hear you say it.
I'm a good wife.
He finishes dressing, notices the downturned picture, sets it upright so she can see it, leans over her gently and gently caresses her face. If you ever doubt that, just remember this. If I don't get what I'm owed, I'll turn you from wife to widow in the blink of an eye. I swear it. Ha, so help me God. Elizabeth flinches from his touch and Norman smiles. We cut to the title. Beautiful day. Let's see where we at. St. Mary's Parish, Kembleford Streets, exterior. A beautiful day. Father Brown gets on his bicycle outside St. Mary's, then sets off. He rides his bicycle through Kembleford, miles of countryside behind him. He wears a happy smile, nodding to parishioners that he passes. We cut to scene 3, Village Green, day 1. The church clock tower looms over everything. Father Brown cycles over to an Anglican church adjacent to the Smithy's house and forge. In the background, Simeon Barnes works at his forge, pounding metal with a hammer. Early 30s, tall, well-built. Wilfred and Susie, dressed in the maid's uniform, Mrs. McCarthy, and several parishioners make preparations for a garden party, laying out an elegant buffet, while a string quartet sets up. Reverend Wilfred Bohan, 39, with a boyish, cherubic face, pedantic, fussy, endearing.
2 utensils per dish, plates at the beginning, napkins at the end, savory to sweet.
Father Brown rings his bell as he arrives.
Father Brown, so glad you could come.
How could I not? Rumor has it you've invited most of my flock.
Couldn't resist sharing my good fortune.
So long as you're not planning on poaching any of my souls.
I wouldn't dream of it.
You're a wicked man, Reverend.
They laugh as they stroll into the grounds where Mrs. McCarthy and Susie are wrangling over where to place a vase of flowers. Wilfred spots Elizabeth taking in the laundry hanging on the line in her garden.
Just one moment.
Wilfred heads over to Elizabeth while Father Brown approaches Mrs. McCarthy and Susie, who haven't noticed him yet.
Not there. The petals are falling into the salad.
All looks nicely garnished.
Mrs. McCarthy sighs, moves the flowers.
Susie, Mrs. McCarthy, it's like I haven't left St. Mary's.
Agreed.
Reverend Bohan asked me to bake some of my award-winning strawberry scones. How could I say no?
And how can I?
He makes a take one, and she taps his hand.
Not yet. When the guests arrive.
Oh, I thought I was a guest.
Susie sets down an exotic-looking sweet noodle dish sprinkled with poppy seeds. Mrs. McCarthy gives it a disparaging look.
Kluski z makiem i rodzynkami. In Poland, it's very popular.
With who? Household pets.
Father Brown spoons out some of the dish, eats it, and moans with appreciation. Susie shoots Mrs. McCarthy a triumphant look. Go to Wilfred and Elizabeth as Elizabeth takes in the laundry.
I'm not sure, Reverend. Simeon's very busy today.
She gestures to Simeon working at the forge, hammering the metal with the hammer.
Too busy for scones and tea?
Elizabeth, I can't read what it says, sorry, smiles, endeared to him.
I've already started preparing lunch.
Come afterwards, please. Won't be the same without you.
She gives a hesitant nod.
Wonderful.
Wilfred heads back towards Father Brown. Elizabeth spots Father Brown for the first time, chatting to Mrs. McCarthy and Susie. Her smile falters. Uneasy, she glances at Simeon working on his forge. Deeply troubled, she continues taking in the laundry, hurrying. At the buffet table, Father Brown waits until Mrs. McCarthy's back's turned, then pinches a scone. Wilfred approaches.
So what do you think?
Hmm?
The new clock tower. New roofing plates, cast iron dials, brand new bell. Campbellford will hear its first resounding bellow at 3 p.m. precisely.
Precisely? Are you sure?
What do you mean?
Appears to be running about 10 seconds too slow.
You can't tell that from a pocket watch. You're pulling my leg.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Father Brown offers his watch. Wilfred brushes it away, eyes Father Brown suspiciously, hurries over to a parishioner, borrows his pocket watch, and checks the time. Father Brown chuckles to himself. He spots Elizabeth gathering the laundry, gives her a wave. She smiles faintly, then avoiding his gaze, gathers the last of the laundry, hurries back with it to the house. Registering her unease, Father Brown watches her curiously. And then we cut to next actions and descriptions. Who would be Vicky? No, yes.
Interior, exterior, Smithy's house, kitchen, day. Elizabeth serves sizzling sausages and eggs onto a plate as Simeon trudges in wearing a grimy shirt, taking off his gloves.
Fry up for lunch?
You've been working so hard. Thought you deserved it. And don't get too excited, but I told the Reverend we'd be making an appearance at his extravaganza.
I've still got 3 more jobs to get through.
You can afford a short break.
We can't afford anything least of all a fry up.
Elizabeth, stung. Simeon, immediately regretful, puts his arms around her.
Sorry, smells delicious.
He gives her a kiss. She smiles faintly, makes to move away, but he draws her back, gazing at her intently.
What?
Just thinking how lucky I am.
She registers the tenderness in his eyes, steels herself against sudden tears.
What did I say?
Nothing. Just tired, that's all. I hope you're not planning to wear that to the table. It's filthy.
He pulls off his top, revealing a fine physique, regards her with a twinkle in his eye.
Better?
Did it stab you? I wonder if we could borrow some.
I'll put something on.
Thank you. Oh.
Elizabeth suppresses a smile, follows Simeon as he heads out.
We've run out of plates.
Interior Smithy's house bedroom. Simeon, Mrs. McCarthy. A voiceover.
Out of view.
Oh, sorry. Simeon goes into the bedroom, pulls out a shirt from the wardrobe.
I think 15 if you can spare. I've made my award-winning strawberry scones, and I expect them to be popular as always. Thank you, dear. Much appreciated.
As Simeon puts on the shirt, he spots Norman's wallet reflected in the mirror, tucked under the bed, picks it up, opens it, sees Norman's golf club membership card. Simeon, shocked, dreading what this might mean. Exterior village green day. Father Brown. The party is in full swing. The string quartet playing Por una cabeza by Carlos Gardel. Mrs. McCarthy gossips to two of the parishioners while holding a plate of her scones.
I shudder to think what I would have seen if I'd arrived a few minutes later.
Go to Father Brown, engaged in conversation with Philip Walker, mid-30s, mild-mannered, a little nerdy, but handsome.
But surely you must acknowledge that evolution renders God superfluous at best.
Oh, quite the contrary. The majesty of life's tapestry only reveals the divine. It doesn't deny it.
You ought to spend some time with me in the field, watching insects devour each other. Then tell me how divine you think it is.
Sounds fascinating, and I do love camping. Tell me when and where.
Father Brown.
Oh, speaking of wildlife, Lady Felicia, you appear to have something nesting in your hair.
Oh, you do
Hat.
tickle me, Father.
I hear you'll be performing for us later.
Reverend Bohun insisted I perform my habanera.
Oh, I bet he did.
Polish delicacy.
Award-winning scone?
Vicky?
They look torn between the two dishes. The roar of a car engine draws their attention. Norman pulls up, parking askew, staggers out, a bottle of fine wine in his hand. Elizabeth stiffens. Simeon quietly registers her reaction.
Seems my invitation got lost in the post.
Wilfred closes his eyes, despairingly. Father Brown registers the antagonism between them. Exterior village green, day. Norman holds court over some parishioners. Philip, Lady Felicia, Mrs. McCarthy, and Father Brown amongst them. Nearby, Wilfred's chatting to Elizabeth and Simeon, all three uncomfortable, trying to ignore Norman, and the string quartet continues to play.
Ecumenical harmony, oh, warms the heart. Catholics and Anglicans taking tea together, pretending to be all chummy.
Mrs. McCarthy quietly seethes. Pretending?
Oh, come on, Father. Underneath it all, you think the other side's going to hell.
Philip laughs, shaking his head, enjoying Norman's outrageousness. Mrs. McCarthy reddens with anger.
And besides, the pomp and bluster of Catholicism, all a little bit silly, isn't it?
Norman, forgive my brother.
Oh, he's entitled to his opinion.
As odious as it is.
I, for one, find Norman's candor refreshing. As refreshing as a used toilet.
Mrs. McCarthy, shocked by her own words, quickly covers her mouth, blushing.
I do beg your pardon. That was most uncouth. Award-winning scone?
The others shake their heads with expressions of mild distaste. Norman and Philip can't help but smile. Embarrassed, Mrs. McCarthy hurries away. Wilfred shoots Norman a look, goes after her. Norman spots Elizabeth and Simeon, gives them a nod and a smile. Simeon bristles, marches away. Father Brown watches, intrigued.
You're a vulgar man. Lady Felicia, I may be wrong, but judging by your general demeanor and the way you're looking at me, I'd say I'm making you Randy.
Philip laughs. Lady Felicia throws her champagne in Norman's face. Gasps all around. Felicia storms off. Norman smiles, wipes away the champagne, then catches sight of Susie, who's clearing away some plates, glancing at him nervously. Norman looks deeply troubled to see her. Susie hurries off into the house. Father Brown clocks the exchange. Norman wanders off after her. Father Brown approaches Elizabeth. Elizabeth, haven't seen you at Mass for a while.
Sorry,
Everything all
Father.
right?
Sorry, Father. Just busy.
I'm not chastising you. If there's anything you'd like to
I'm
talk about.
fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
She walks away, leaving Father Brown concerned. Exterior rear of Wilford's Church, day. String quartet and party sounds in the near distance. The rear of the church looks out onto a field. Mrs. McCarthy comes out with jugs of juice. She's about to head back to the party when she overhears Susie and Norman arguing. She follows their voices round to the side of the church.
You're supposed to be gone.
I need more money.
I gave you $10. You're not getting a penny more.
You know how expensive is London?
It'll cost you if you stay here. I guarantee it.
Mrs. McCarthy arrives upon Norman and Susie at the rear of the residence, Norman grasping Susie's wrist. They spot her. Norman hurries away. Susie shoots Mrs. McCarthy a disparaging look, storms off, leaving Mrs. McCarthy intrigued. Exterior Village Green, day. Felicia performs Habanera from Bizet's Carmen in French, giving it great gusto, accompanied by the string quartet. The whole party are gathered around watching, Mrs. McCarthy and Wilfred enjoying the performance. Elizabeth and Simeon are standing together, Norman nearby. His gaze wanders over to Elizabeth, drops down to her rear end. Elizabeth reddens, painfully aware of his stare. Father Brown notices the silent interaction.
L'amour, l'amour, l'amour.
Simeon spots Norman staring at his wife's behind. Norman raises his gaze to meet Simeon's. A thin smile spreads across Norman's lips. Simeon loses it, lunges at Norman. The crowd screams. Simeon plows into Norman, and they both go flying into the string quartet. Felicia is knocked onto the ground, her hat flying off her head and landing in a bowl of trifle. Wilfred and Mrs. McCarthy are aghast. Simeon takes out the wallet, thrusts it into Norman's face.
You forgot something, you wild, disgusting rodent.
Philip and the parishioners pull Simeon off of Norman. Simeon does his best to collect himself, glares at Elizabeth, who stares at him, mortified.
You're finished, Barnes.
Silence, all eyes on a deeply ashamed Elizabeth. Simeon strides towards his house. Elizabeth starts towards Simeon, but stops, can't bring herself to go to him. She glances at Father Brown. He makes to go to her, but she shakes her head, scurries off towards a bench in the graveyard. Father Brown watching her leave. Simeon stops at his door, watching Elizabeth heading towards the graveyard, considers. Interior Wilfred's Vicarage, living room, day. Norman scours a drinks cabinet, takes out a bottle of brandy. Wilfred hurries in.
Ah, so this is where you keep the good stuff.
Wilfred regards Norman hesitantly, pained.
I'm cutting you off.
Excuse me?
Father left a clause in the inheritance. It entrusts me with the purse strings, including all real estate holdings. I am invoking it.
Wilfred hands him some documents, an entry circled in pen. Norman stares at it in disbelief.
You think I wanted it to come to this? You're out of control. Drinking, gambling, indulging in best appetites.
This is a lie.
It's there in black and white. And so is this. It's not too late for you, Norman. You can still be saved. Please, let us pray.
Norman sneers at Wilfred, storms out, and Wilfred hangs his head. Interior, exterior, the rear of Wilfred's church, graveyard, day. Elizabeth sits on the bench in the graveyard, staring at her hands. Simeon approaches, watches her for a moment.
Is it true?
She breaks down into tears. Simeon, enraged, broken-hearted, storms off, leaving Elizabeth anguished. She spots Norman as he strides out to the rear of the church, looking agitated. He doesn't see her. She stands, staring at him, her face burning with rage. Elizabeth tears away, almost bumping into Lady Felicia on her way towards a room at the rear of the church, holding her trifle-stained hat. Elizabeth strides off, her face full of fury. Exterior side of Wilfred's church, day. Norman, still bristling from his encounter with Wilfred, paces up and down, dragging on a cigarette. He looks at the church, noticing a stained glass window. He picks up a rock, makes to throw it, then stops himself. A flicker of guilt. He sighs and drops the stone.
You all right?
Philip approaches. Norman doesn't answer. Philip takes out a cigarette and lights it.
Trust you to liven up a party.
Norman doesn't respond, stares out across the field.
Poker game still on for next weekend?
No offense, but right now I don't need the fawnings of a sycophant.
Philip, stung, glares at Norman. Exterior, Wilfred's churchyard, day. The party goers gather in front of the clock tower, 1 minute to 3.
Where's the Reverend? He's going to miss his big moment.
Wilfred hurries over. Are you all right, Wilfred?
I'll be fine. Can't let my brother Shanahan's ruin the day.
Wilfred steps onto a small podium as Philip rejoins the crowd, looking shifty.
Thank you everyone for coming, and my sincere apologies for the fracas earlier. We won't let it spoil the day. We've been blessed with beautiful sunshine, and in about 10 seconds, we'll be blessed with the sound of glorious bells.
They applaud.
10, 9, 8.
Everyone joins in with the countdown. They reach 0. Wait expectantly. The hour hand doesn't move. Wilfred catches an amused look from Father Brown, who gently taps his pocket watch, the minute hand moving to the 12 mark. The church bell resounds. Everyone applauds. As the bell strikes 3, a piercing scream cuts through the sound. Everyone looks around towards the vicarage, shocked. Exterior, rear of the Wilfred's churchyard, day. Everyone arrives on the scene, including Susie, Elizabeth, and Simeon, to find Lady Felicia standing in shock, staring at Norman's body, lying sprawled at the edge of the field behind the vicarage. His head has been caved in.
Norman, no!
Philip approaches the body, barely able to look.
He's dead.
Mrs. McCarthy cries in shock, Father Brown putting an arm around her. End of Act 1.
Heather, your turn.
Exterior street near church. Day 1, 15:20. 2 police cars pull up. Inspector Valentine and police officers get out. Run towards the rear of the church. Cut to exterior rear of Wilfred's church. Father Brown, Inspector Valentine, Susie, Mrs. McCarthy, Lady Felicia, Wilfred, Norman, Elizabeth, Simeon, Philip. Parishioners, everyone else. The parishioners look on at a discreet distance. Lady Felicia is numb with shock. Mrs. McCarthy and Susie watch while Inspector Valentine and the police officers examine the crime scene. The doctor examines the body. Simeon and Elizabeth stand on opposite sides of the garden, watching with numb expressions. Philip stands apart, staring at the ground. Father Brown is at Wilfred's side, a hand on his shoulder, Wilfred hanging his head.
Looks like a single blow to the head. The skull's been smashed like an eggshell, fragments of bone driven into the ground, and the body...
Perhaps you should go inside.
I'm not going anywhere.
Search for a weapon.
The officers start scouring the grass.
Lady Felicia, did you see anyone running away from the scene? I can't. I don't.
It's all right. Take your time.
I was cleaning my hat. I looked out and I saw he was lying there. I didn't see anyone else.
Lady Felicia shakes her head, confused and shocked.
I'm sorry. I think I need to lie down.
Lady Felicia heads off, accompanied by a parishioner. Valentine turns to the crowd.
I'll need statements from all of you. Who last saw Mr. Bohan alive?
Susie looks away, doesn't say anything. Mrs. McCarthy eyes her suspiciously. Philip glances nervously over at Valentine, but doesn't respond. Mrs. McCarthy is about to say something to Valentine, but Wilfred gets there first.
Isn't that obvious? The murderer. He attacked him less than an hour before in front of dozens of witnesses.
Elizabeth spots Simeon's hammer in the grass, the head covered in blood. She glances at a searching police officer, getting closer.
Mr. Barnes?
Simeon locks eyes with Elizabeth.
Mr. Barnes, did you do this?
He got what was coming to him.
Is that a confession?
You don't need a confession. Look at his head. Who else could deliver such a blow?
Over Wilfred's line, Elizabeth stares at the hammer, glances at the approaching police officer, looks at a nearby headstone. She kicks the hammer towards the headstone, but it stops short, landing only halfway behind it. Elizabeth bristles with frustration. The police officer spots the hammer, calls the inspector. He hurries over, picks up the hammer with a cloth.
Is this one of yours?
Simeon nods.
Simeon Barnes, I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder of Norman Bohan. You're not obliged to say anything.
Wait. It was me. I did it.
No,
I'm sorry, Reverend.
that's not possible. Look at her. She has neither the strength nor the brutality to...
Mrs. Barnes, if you're trying to protect your
I
husband...
picked up the hammer from the forge, crept up behind him, and I hit him. I swear it. So help me God. Wilfred shakes his head, devastated.
Elizabeth.
You got a line there.
Inspector Valentine, uncertain but with little choice.
Elizabeth Barnes, I'm arresting you for the murder of Norman Bohan. You are not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you say will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence.
Father Brown watches as Valentine handcuffs Elizabeth. Philip stares at the ground. Elizabeth stares sorrowfully at Simeon, who watches her numb with shock. Cut to exterior hilltop. The clock tower chimes 8 o'clock. Wilfred sits on a bench on a hilltop overlooking Campbellford. The Bible on his lap, eyes closed in prayer. Father Brown makes his way up the hill. Wilfred opens his eyes, gestures for Father Brown to sit beside him. Father Brown sits in contemplative silence as they admire the view of the village, the bell fading.
I tried so hard to save him.
I know.
I can't believe Elizabeth could do this. It had to be Simeon.
I'm fond of her too. But we can't allow our feelings to blind us to the possibility that she may be guilty.
Wilfred stands, takes a few paces, deeply troubled. Father Brown strolls alongside.
Not of murder. Not her. It's not in her nature.
Even if you're right, it doesn't necessarily follow that Simeon's the culprit.
Trust you to look for mysteries when the truth's right in front of your eyes.
I don't look for mysteries so much as they seem to come looking for me.
And your penchant for spy novels and crossword puzzles? They're forced upon you, are they?
Wilfred gives Father Brown a smile.
You may be right, but you must admit your brother did have something of a reputation. I doubt Simeon Barnes is the only one rejoicing.
Then you admit Elizabeth may be innocent.
I never said otherwise.
Then speak to the inspector. You know him better than I do. Tell him.
I'm not sure he'd appreciate my interfering.
When has that stopped you before?
Father Brown gives him a sheepish look. Wilfred heads down off the hill, leaving Father Brown to look out across the sleepy village. Lights coming on in the windows of some of the houses. Cut to interior police station cell. Elizabeth scrolls her signature at the bottom of a confession. Inspector Valentine with her. Father Brown comes in, escorted by a police officer, watches Elizabeth hand the confession to Inspector Valentine. Inspector Valentine goes over to Father Brown.
It says Norman tried to kill her husband, so she got to him first. Can't get much more out of her than that. But she's put her name to it now.
Doesn't mean much if she's lying.
It does to the prosecuting solicitors.
Inspector Valentine heads off with the police officer. Father Brown goes over to Elizabeth, sits on the stool. She hangs her head, a broken woman. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 1 month since my last confession. Elizabeth hesitates, nervous. Father Brown waits patiently. I've had relations out of marriage twice.
I thought you and Simeon were happy.
We were, but Simeon gambles. I found an IOU for £50. Poker. We'd lose the house, everything. I tried to talk to him about it, but he told me not to worry. He sorted out. Typical man. I begged Norman to waive the debt, and he agreed. On the condition that I...
Oh, Elizabeth, I'm so sorry.
She hangs her head. Father Brown waits for more, but Elizabeth remains silent.
Is there anything else you'd like to confess?
She hesitates, then shakes her head.
Then you must tell the inspector.
I won't see my husband hang.
Norman Bohun had any number of enemies.
Until one of them shows up with blood on his hands, I won't say anything else. She looks at him, resolute, bows her head. Father Brown, deeply concerned. Cut to Interior Police Station, Inspector Valentine's office. Court. Inspector Valentine spots Father Brown emerging from the police station cells.
Anything?
You know, I wish I could tell you.
How about this? You tap your umbrella on the floor. Once for yes, twice for no.
I wish it were that easy.
It's a woman's life.
And so, lest we forget, were her fingerprints found on the hammer?
Oh, no, you don't.
I'm trying to help.
Oh, then quid pro quo. See? I know a bit of Latin, too.
You know I can't.
I thought you were a renegade.
Hardly. But I'm flattered that's the way you see me.
Then do the heroic thing and tell me what you know.
Father Brown's eyes tight-lipped.
Then unless you have information pertinent to this investigation, information you can actually share, don't get involved.
Inspector Valentine heads off into the main area of the police station to talk to a police officer. Father Brown glances at the open door to Inspector Valentine's office, sneaks inside, finds the crime report on the desk, lifts it open, flicks through a few pages. Insert. Close on crime report. Murder weapon, hammer, no fingerprints. He spots Inspector Valentine finishing his conversation with the police officer, turning towards the office. Go to Inspector Valentine as he crosses the station, goes over to his office to find the door ajar, creaking slightly on its hinges. Suspicious, he looks towards the main exit to see the main door swaying in the wind. A sense of the dark night having slipped away on the wind from outside, the sound of Father Brown's bicycle bell as he rides away, and back to.
Cut to interior exterior St. Mary's Presbytery hallway kitchen. Hallway. Father Brown combs his hair, looking thoughtful. Susie comes in from the outside carrying a bucket and a mop.
Which floors do you want me to do first, presbytery or church?
Yes, why?
Susie rolls her eyes. Mrs. McCarthy enters with paperwork and gives Susie a wary glance.
Morning, Father. Susie? Thought I'd make a start on the quarterly accounts.
Don't bother, he's been on moon last few days.
Father Brown?
He comes round, gives her a smile.
Are you all right? You had that look on your face.
Look.
Wheels turning. You don't usually get that unless there's something amiss.
Oh, nothing amiss, not to worry.
You're going to the funeral? Do you really think Mrs. Barnes is responsible for...
Why do you ask?
Mrs. McCarthy pointedly eyes Susie.
You think Susie?
If you must get it out of me, I saw Susie and Norman arguing shortly before he was found murdered. And when the inspector asked if anyone saw Norman before it happened, she didn't say anything.
What were they arguing about?
They stop talking as Susie wanders past with her bucket and mop. She notices Father Brown and Mrs. McCarthy's sudden silence, heads into the kitchen where she fills the bucket with water, uneasy.
I'm not sure. I think about money.
Even so, Susie's hardly the type to commit cold-blooded murder.
You only think that because you're so fond of her.
Father Brown, a little troubled, her words echoing his own to Wilfred.
Do you think I should tell Inspector Valentine?
Not yet. I'll talk to Susie myself after the funeral.
In the kitchen, Susie looks mortified. Father Brown opens the door to find Lady Felicia standing outside, wearing dark sunglasses, nervous and tired, her car parked nearby.
Oh, Lady Felicia.
Do you have a moment?
Oh, what's the matter?
I haven't been sleeping much since the other day. The most frightful nightmares.
Oh, you poor soul.
Lady Felicia peers past Father Brown, spots Mrs. McCarthy glancing over noisily. Can we talk in private?
I'm afraid I'm running late for the funeral. Can it wait till this afternoon? I'll make some tea. Always has a way of making things better.
Lady Felicia nods, grateful, heads off while Father Brown closes the door, dashes off. Inside, Mrs. McCarthy sits at the kitchen table to do the accounts, as Susie comes back with a bucket and mop. Exchanging an uneasy look with her, Susie mops the floor. Mrs. McCarthy does the paperwork, both painfully aware of each other, throwing wary glances.
I've run out of detergent, I'll go to shops.
Dear?
She throws a bottle in the bin, puts on her jacket. Susie heads out. Mrs. McCarthy watches her go, then takes the bottle out of the bin, shakes it. Half full. She grabs her coat, stuffing the bottle in her pocket, following Susie. Cut to exterior Kembleford Streets near the wall. Keeping a discreet distance, Mrs. McCarthy follows Susie as she hurries along the streets. She watches her pass the local shop, her eyes full of panic. Mrs. McCarthy's eyes narrow with suspicion. Susie turns a corner, then another. Mrs. McCarthy keeps pace, but as Susie crosses the road, suddenly she looks in Mrs. McCarthy's direction. Quickly, Mrs. McCarthy ducks back into some bushes, loses her balance, falls out and falls back into the shrubs, the branches swallowing her. Susie starts at the rustle of bushes and spots Mrs. McCarthy's feet sticking out from underneath. Confused, Susie hurries on her way, turning around another corner. Caught in the tangle of leaves and branches, Mrs. McCarthy struggles to get herself upright. Two elderly parishioners stroll past, stop to watch her, startled.
Morning.
The parishioners look confused. Mrs. McCarthy brings a cluster of small pink flowers growing in the shrubs close to her nose, draws in the scent.
Achillea millifolium. Wonderful this time of year.
They smile uneasily. Cut to interior-exterior Polish camp, Susie's hut, day 2. Susie hurries through the Polish camp, past refugees doing their laundry, children playing. She heads into her hut, panicked, takes her passport out of a drawer, puts it on the bed, quickly throws clothes out of a wardrobe, pulls out a suitcase from under the bed, sets it on the mattress, inadvertently covering the passport, starts packing. Cut to exterior Wilfrid's church, cemetery, and forge, day 2. Pallbearers pat down the earth on Norman's burial site. Wilfred watches, his face broken with grief. Philip stares at the grave, while Father Brown watches Wilfred with concern.
Wilfred, are you all right?
Wilfred seems to snap out of it, noticing him.
I have some snacks, I'll put them out.
Don't trouble yourself. I'm not staying.
Wilfred glares at him for a moment, quiet anger, inscrutable.
Fine.
Father Brown registers the resentment. Wilfred takes Father Brown aside.
Did you speak to Elizabeth?
Yes.
And?
Let's just say I'm investigating.
Wilfred nods gratefully, shuffles toward the vicarage. Father Brown steadies Philip. Bit of an awkward silence.
It's always sad when so few come to pay their respects.
Even for someone like Norman?
Presumably, you didn't think he was a bad sort, being his friend.
Maybe I'm a bad sort, Father. Think about that.
Or you don't strike me as one.
Well, appearances and all that.
Philip shuffles away. Father Brown watches him, intrigued. Cut to exterior forge, day 2. Simeon comes out to his forge, uses tongs to handle a lump of molten metal. On his way into the vicarage, Wilfred spots him, marches over.
Why won't you admit it?
Father Brown looks over. Simeon keeps working, doesn't look at Wilfred.
Your wife is in prison for a crime she didn't commit. Don't talk to me about my wife. Do you not fear eternity in hell? You mean was your brother? 'Cause that's where he is now, isn't he? The adulterer. Fire stripping the flesh of his bones, an eternity of burning, blistering agony. Stop it!
Concerned, Father Brown approaches as Simeon puts the molten metal onto a slab, picks up a hammer, starts pounding it into shape.
Great. Two-pronged attack, is it?
Reverend, let's go inside.
Do you even care about your wife?
Simeon reels on him, raising the hammer.
I said, don't talk to me about my wife.
Mr. Barnes!
Wilfred cowers. Simeon catches himself, lowers the hammer, reddens, almost embarrassed for losing control. He stares at the forge, broiling with molten metal and rising flames, pulls off his gloves, throws them down, strides away, pulling on his jacket, heading toward the street.
See?
Father Brown watches Simeon striding away, and then his gaze drops down to the gloves he left behind, on a work table, where there are assorted tools and work gloves. Father Brown considers Simeon striding away, then follows him. Cut to... scene cut. Cut to interior barn, day 2. An illegal gambling den. Stacks of hay used as seats and tables, crowded with men shouting out their bets to a bookie, while others are gathered around a radio, blaring horse racing commentary, the men cheering on their horses. Simeon scours horse racing listings on the newspaper pages plastered on the walls. Father Brown steps inside, a doorman regarding him warily.
We all have our vices.
The men notice him, suddenly fall quiet. One of them switches off the radio. Silence.
I come in peace.
You following me?
Guilty as charged.
Last thing anyone wants in here is a preacher.
I'm not here to preach.
Then how about you make yourself useful? Use your divine insight to tell me which one of those has his blessing.
I couldn't possibly.
But Father Brown can't help himself, edges a little closer to the racing listings. The gamblers watch him expectantly.
But I suppose if I were a betting man, I'd go for
Father Brown steadies the listings. The gamblers lean in on tenterhooks.
Fluffy Duck.
An eruption of shouts from the men as they shout out their stakes on Fluffy Duck to the bookie, who struggles to keep up. Simeon writes Fluffy Duck on his own betting slip, Father Brown eyeing it.
And all this time, I thought you were a non-believer.
Your guess is as good as any other.
Simeon lays the betting slip on several banknotes, counts out more notes from his wallet, emptying it. Father Brown alarmed.
And yet, that amounts to a lot of faith.
Simeon heads toward the bookie, but Father Brown gets in front of him.
Why don't you give this one a miss?
Get out of my way.
Or,
They eye each other. Simeon steps past Father Brown toward the bookie.
I spoke to Elizabeth.
Simeon stops, his fingers clenching around the money.
I think you should too.
The bookie rings a bell, signaling the betting's over. Simeon sighs. The men crowd around the radio, switch it on. The race starts, the men cheering on Fluffy Duck. Simeon turns to face Father Brown.
And why is that?
Because you love her.
After what she did?
Yes, even after what she did. Isn't that what love is?
Simeon, sober, reflective, sits down. Father Brown lifts a hen from the haystack beside Simeon, finds an egg. Delighted, pops it in his pocket, sits beside him.
Did she say anything to you about why she did it?
What are we talking about? The infidelity or...
Simeon looks at Father Brown, broken, tearful, the devastation showing on his face for the first time.
Both.
Father Brown steadies his eyes, ascertaining the truth.
You didn't kill him.
No.
Father Brown nods, deep in thought, Simeon registering his expression.
You think she's innocent?
I think you need to talk to your wife.
Simeon considers, puts his money back in his wallet. On the radio, the race reaches its climax. The men erupt with angry shouts as the commentator describes Fluffy Duck finishing last. The men throw resentful looks in Father Brown's direction. Father Brown regards them sheepishly.
Oops. Looks like he decided to teach you a lesson. I think that's my cue to leave.
He gets up, out on the men glaring after him. Cut to exterior Kimbleford Street near barn, day 2. Father Brown heads down the path away from the barn. Mrs. McCarthy, flustered and a little disheveled, comes running over.
I've been looking for you everywhere.
Oh, what's the matter? You look in bloom.
I followed Susie.
Into a florist?
She lied to me.
What are you talking about?
Mrs. McCarthy produces a bottle of detergent. Father Brown raises an eyebrow. Cut to interior-exterior Kembleford train station platform, day 2. Susie arrives on the platform with her suitcase, glances at the sign which reads, "Next train to London, 2 p.m., and beside it, the clock which reads 1:40 p.m. Cut to Kembleford Streets, exterior, field, day. Father Brown rides his bicycle through the streets. Inspector Valentine pulls up in his car, honks his horn. Father Brown keeps cycling, Inspector Valentine keeping pace, and they speak through the open window.
Afternoon, Inspector. Lovely day for it.
I hear you've been doing some sleuthing.
Oh, just taking care of my flock.
I specifically told you. Father Brown pedals faster.
I'm sorry, Inspector. I can't hear you over the wind.
Then slow down. In fact, stop. Father Brown speeds up. Inspector Valentine keeps pace. Father Brown! Father Brown dashes through a gap in the fence. Inspector Valentine hits the brake before the car can crash, wheels splattering mud upon the body. Inspector Valentine seizes as Father Brown escapes, cycling across the field into the distance. Father Brown cycles to the edge of the field where a sign points to the Polish camp, and he rides off down a lane. Cut to interior police station cell. Elizabeth on her knees on the grimy cell floor, head bowed, hands together in prayer. A police officer shows Simeon into the cell. She looks up, sees Simeon, a sharp intake of breath, overwhelmed. Simeon's heart breaks, his eyes fill with tears. He goes over to her, they grasp each other's hands. He lifts her hands to his face, kisses them. Elizabeth weeps, in that moment overcome with happiness. Cut to interior-exterior Kembleford train station platform, day 2. A steam train pulls into the station. Passengers start boarding. Susie gets in line, glancing furtively over her shoulder. She checks the contents of her bag, suddenly panicked as she can't find her passport. Father Brown rushes through the station.
Church business.
Father Brown runs onto the platform, searches the crowd. Susie's about to board the train, still, searching the bag, when Father Brown spots her.
Susie!
Susie looks round, shocked to see him. He holds up the passport. Cut to interior Kembleford train station cafe, day 2. Father Brown and Susie sit in a small cafe in the train station. Passengers mill about, including 2 nuns having tea at the next table. A waitress sets down 2 cups of tea and leaves. Susie regards Father Brown warily and hesitates.
I used to clean his house.
Norman Bohun?
He gave me big tips, tried to make doings with me, but I didn't let him.
The nuns glance over. Father Brown gives them a polite smile.
Sister Margaret, Sister White, is that what Mrs. McCarthy heard you arguing about at the party?
No. The people in camp, they're very poor. Some not lucky as me to get work. They need money, I help them.
Father Brown regards her with a look of apprehension.
How?
I found out secret. Told him he has to pay or I tell.
You were blackmailing him?
I tried. But he says no. Who will believe immigrant? Orders me to leave village, says if I don't, he'll hurt me. But someone hurt him. It wasn't me.
What was the secret?
Last month, I arrived early to his house. He didn't hear me. I went to his bedroom and... I can't say it, not to you.
Trust me, Susie. In my line of work, there's not much I haven't heard.
He was with a man.
Father Brown, his mind already at work. End of Act 3. Cut to Vicky with actions and descriptions.
Interior police station cell. Simeon and Elizabeth sit together, holding hands. Inspector Valentine comes in, glum-faced.
I spoke to the prosecuting solicitor. He won't accept your retraction. I'm afraid I have to formally charge you with murder. I'm sorry.
But she didn't do it.
As far as the pro souls are concerned, she had means, motive, and opportunity.
As did I and a score of other people.
But she's the only one who confessed at the scene and subsequently signed a confession.
So what happens now?
You argue your case in the assizes.
But if she loses...
Simeon can't bring himself to say it.
I could hang.
Elizabeth stares into space with an impassive expression. Exterior field, pond, Wilford's church. Father Brown, Philip crouches by a pond, collecting samples, placing them into test tubes in Wilford's church in the near distance. Father Brown sidles over, crouches down beside him. Philip, startled. Making good on my promise.
Promise?
To watch insects devouring each other.
Sorry to disappoint you, but these caddisflies tend to feed on nectar. And if you don't mind, I prefer to work on...
Sounds fascinating, may I? Father Brown takes a sample collector and a test tube, scoops up some larvae, places them into the test tube. How many larvae do you think are in this pond?
A typical mass contains up to 800 eggs.
800. Oh, incredible. Philip registers Father Brown's genuine enthusiasm, warms a little to his subject.
And this particular species forms webs of debris for protection against predators, birds, frogs, spiders.
Survival of the fittest, eh? They share a small smile. Father Brown holds his gaze, suddenly serious. I spoke to Susie, Norman's cleaner. Philip, quiet dread.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She told me what she saw. Father Brown regards him hesitantly. Philip, numb with shock, as this sinks in. Suddenly frantic, Philip starts to collect his things together.
What are you going to do with this information?
It's not my intention to do in any way to expose you.
Then what do you want?
I'm just trying to...
Has she told anyone else?
No.
How can you be sure?
I know her, I'm sure.
You know what could happen to me?
Please, Mr. Walker, calm down.
Calm down. You're not the one facing the possibility of arrest and chemical treatments.
Neither are you. No one else knows. No one else will. Your secret is safe. I didn't come here to judge. Father Brown puts a hand on his shoulder. Philip registers the gesture, studies Father Brown's face, calms a little.
And why?
Father Brown hesitates, uncertain.
You think I did it? Of course, it must be me that did it.
It's a sad truth that in many cases victims are murdered by those that supposedly love them.
I did
Philip
love
turns
him.
away.
I did love him. He could be selfish, cruel, but he was always honest, always who he was, like a little boy sometimes. I would never.
He hangs his head, stifles tears. Father Brown nods, registering his sincerity. I believe you, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Did anyone else know of Norman's proclivities?
You think that's why he was killed?
It's not unheard of, unfortunately.
I don't know.
Father Brown nods. He's about to head off and turns back. If you ever want to talk, I promise I won't try to convert you. Philip smiles, touched.
Likewise.
Father Brown smiles. The clock tower chimes in the near distance, and Father Brown takes out his pocket watch, checks the time. Insert pocket watch, 1 minute to 3. Father Brown stares at it, dawning apprehension, looks around at the clock tower. No. Dread settles on his face. Interior, Felicia's manor, hallway, parlor. The housekeeper opens the front door to Father Brown, Lady Felicia approaching behind, relieved to see him, foreboding religious choral music from the parlor.
Father!
So sorry for missing our afternoon tea. Today's been full of unexpected. Do you have a moment now? She nods. He follows her down the hallway. If it's not too traumatic, I wonder if you'd recount for me what you saw at the party, whether there was anything. As Felicia shows him into the parlor, Father Brown looks stunned. Unusual. A large cross has been propped on the mantelpiece, glowing candles beneath it, along with a multitude of religious pictures. A gramophone plays some music. I know I've occasionally suggested you devote more time to the faith, but I didn't mean you should turn your parlor into a church. Lady Felicia regards him nervously, hesitates.
Yes, I saw something. But what exactly, I don't know. At first, I convinced myself I'd imagined it. What other explanation could there be? But I can't get it out of my head. No matter how many of these I take, I think I might be mad.
Upset, almost on the verge of tears, Felicia can't bring herself to go on. Father Brown sits beside her, takes her hand. What did you see?
Father, do you believe in demons?
Why do you ask?
I think I saw one, or rather, what it did, to Norman Bowen. The thing itself, it wasn't visible to my eyes, but what it did.
She shakes her head as if to banish the images away. You saw the murder? She nods, steels herself before going on.
I was cleaning my hat, like you said. I saw Norman through the door, very much alive. I glanced away for a second, if that, and then I heard a sickening sound, a sound I'll never forget. When I looked back, his head was pouring with blood. But there was no one around, no one there. Whatever struck him, it was invisible.
Father Brown, quietly mortified, slowly hangs his head. Then it's true. Father Brown, utter despair as the choral music reaches a crescendo. End of Act 4.
Cut to Julie for actions and descriptions.
Cut 2. Exterior hilltop overlooking church. Day 2. Wilfred sits on his bench, staring across at the town, one hand resting on the Bible. He looks down at the Bible, opens it to the back page where there's a photograph tucked into the back cover. He takes it out, an old picture of Elizabeth taken at a social function. He gently touches her image. The church bell tolls. He looks at the watch, 7:48. Wilfred looks puzzled. Cut to exterior Wilfred's church clock tower, day 2. Wilfred emerges into the balcony of the clock tower where Father Brown sits, holding a hammer, wearing war gloves. Have you gone mad?
I don't think so. Though I suppose if I had, I wouldn't know any different.
What are you doing up here?
Oh, resetting the clock. Strange you didn't do it yourself. You're usually so fastidious.
In case you haven't noticed, I've had a lot on my mind.
I've noticed.
Father Brown sets down a hammer, Wilfred uneasy. Where did you get that?
The hammer? Oh, I borrowed it from the forge. And the gloves? You left them here the other day. Explains why there were no fingerprints on the hammer.
What are you talking about?
I think there's something dangerous about being on high places, even to pray, don't you?
Father Brown stands at the railing, looks over.
Looking down on the world, on everyone in it. What happened?
Wilfred regards him warily, doesn't respond.
You came up here to adjust the clock, but before you could, you saw something that distracted you from your task. Something that enraged you enough to...
Are you accusing me of?
Yes, I'm afraid I am.
How dare you? He makes to leave. Father Brown stands in his way, bearing him from the exit, intent.
You will speak the truth. If afterwards you choose to walk from here without telling a soul, I won't stop you, and your secret will be safe. You have my word on that, but you will speak the truth. Here, now.
Father Brown puts a hand on Wilfred's shoulder. Wilfred looks at it scornfully. You're far too tactile, Father. Has anyone told you that? Wilfred lifts Father Brown's hand off his shoulder, takes a step back. Considering the offer, he trudges over to the balcony railing, leans on it, hesitates. The sanctity of confession? I purge myself and you let me go scot-free? Wilfred registers the sincerity on Father Brown's face. You're a fool.
I'm happy to play the fool if it leads me to the truth.
Wilfred stares down at the forge and vicarage below. Yes, I took the hammer. Insert scene 39. Outside the forge, Wilfred picks up the hammer. My only intention was to reset the clock. Insert scene 40. Wilfred goes up to the clock tower, spots Norman and Philip down below. They go into a tool shed together. Wilfred stares intently at Father Brown. I could forgive him almost anything. Avarice, lust, even murder, but not that. Insert scene 41. Philip leaves the tool shed. Norman walks into the field. Wilfred watches him gripping the hammer. Wilfred stares at Father Brown with almost the same expression as he remembers. And so in burst of pure passion, the hammer flew from my hand. Insert scene 42. Wilfred throws the hammer. It flies through the air. Wilfred, a sense of almost ecstatic release. It felt so good, because I knew my hand was guided. I was but a vessel of the Lord's will, his agent. It was what he wanted. Wilfred approaches Father Brown, almost beseeching. How could it not be so? From up here? What's the alternative? That it was chance, luck? There's no such thing. Insert scene 43, the hammer sailing through the air, rushing toward Norman's head. Everything has order. Everything has meaning. This was divine intervention. Insert scene 44. Lady Felicia cleans her head in a small room at the rear of the church. Sees Norman, looks back at Hat. A sickening squelch. Lady Felicia looks at Norman, blood pouring from his head. Insert scene 45. Wilfred pulls off the gloves, discards them, races down the tower. Insert scene 46. Wilfred returns to the party, Father Brown asking if he's all right. as in scene 13. Insert scene 47. Lady Felicia approaches Norman's body. The bell tolls. She screams. Wilfred stares defiantly at Father Brown. Yes, my brother's dead, but it was by God's hand, not mine. I shall not repent.
Then why the guilty conscience?
I have no such thing.
It's why you didn't come back to reset the clock. You couldn't face the scene of the crime.
I answer to one higher power, and he will judge me righteous.
Righteous? For using his name to justify your own malice?
No.
Your actions were yours, and yours alone. Look into your heart. You know it's true.
Wilfred glares at the Father Brown, upset but trying to hide it. Thank you for your counsel, Father. I'll be leaving now. He heads for the door.
You can still be saved, and so can Elizabeth. Is it God's will for her to hang for your crime?
They'll see she's innocent.
You're willing to take that chance?
God will save her.
God is not your scapegoat!
Wilfred, shaken by Father Brown's sudden outrage.
If there's one shred of conscience left in you, you will do what's right.
Wilfred hangs his head sober a bit, takes a step towards the balcony's edge, distraught, looks at Father Brown. You are right. I am a wicked man. Wilfred makes to jump off the tower. Father Brown grabs his arm, pulls him back, stares him in the eye, solemn.
You can still be saved if that's what you want.
Father Brown lets go of his arm, leaving the choice in Wilfred's hand alone. Standing on the precipice of life and death, hell or heaven, Wilfred stares at the fatal drop beneath him, looks back at the Father Brown, then back down at the drop, emotionally and spiritually torn. Go to scene 48. Cut to exterior Forge Rectory. Flashback. Wilfred picks up a hammer from the workbench, along with some screwdrivers and a pair of work gloves. The party gets mingled with each other, not noticing him. Wilfred looks up at the clock tower, 2:45. My only intention was to reset the clock. Cut to exterior bellroom clock tower, rear of Wilfred's church. Flashback. Wilfred arrives at the top of the clock tower, hammer in hand. He uses the hammer to wrench open a panel, exposing the inner workings of the clock, then puts on the gloves. He notices Norman far down below, standing behind the church with Philip. Wilfred goes into the balcony for a better look. Go to Norman and Wilfred on ground level, as in scene 12.
No offense, but right now I don't need the fawnings of a sycophant.
Philip's tongue glares at Norman.
Do you need?
Norman locks eyes with him. A bit, Norman glances over his shoulder, flicks away his cigarette, glances towards the shed used for gravedigger's tools. On the clock tower, Wilfred watches him, growing apprehension as Norman strides over to the shed, leaving the door ajar. Philip hesitates, glances about, then goes inside with him. The door shuts. On the clock tower, Wilfred slowly shakes his head, grips the hammer with both hands, twisting it in his fists. Cut to exterior clock tower, rear Wilfred's church. Flashback. The door of the shed opens. Philip peeks out and quickly scurries off in the direction of the party, glancing about furtively. After a moment, Norman steps outside, notices Lady Felicia heading into a small room at the rear of the church with her damaged hat. She spots him, glares. He gives her a smile and a wave, takes several paces into the field, taking out another cigarette. On the clock tower, Wilfred watches him, tears burning in his eyes, his face red with rage. Almost unconsciously, he raises the hammer. Cut to exterior clock tower, day 1. Flashback. In slow motion, the hammer leaves Wilfred's hand, flying through the air. In slow motion, Wilfred inhales deeply, his eyes falling closed, a sense of almost ecstatic release. It felt so good. Slow motion close on the hammer, sailing through the air, twisting, turning. Because I knew my hand was guided. I was but a vessel of Lord's will, his agent. It was what he wanted. Cut to Norman. Wilfred voiceover. Flashback. Slow motion, the hammer sailing through the air, almost hypnotic as it cartwheels over and over again. Everything has order. Everything has meaning. This was divine intervention. POV of hammer rushing towards the back of Norman's head at high speed. Cut to lady interior small room at the rear of the church. Flashback. Lady Felicia cleans her hat, glances through the open door at Norman. She looks back down at the hat, a sickening squelch. Lady Felicia looks back at Norman, blood pouring from the back of his head. He crumples to the ground. Felicia, stunned, scans the area, sees no one else. Cut to flashback. Wilfred pulls off the gloves, discards them, races down the step of the clock tower. Cut to Father Brown. Flashback taken from scene 13. Exact repeat. Wilfred rejoins Father Brown at the party.
Are you all right, Wilfred?
I'll be fine. Can't let my brother shenanigans ruin the day. Father Brown gives him a sympathetic smile. Wilfred steps into a small podium as Philip rejoins the crowd, looking a little shifty. Cut to flashback. Lady Felicia nears Norman's body. The bell tolls. She stops in her tracks, sees that he's dead. The bell tolls again. A scream catches in Felicia's throat. On the third toll, she lets it rip. Cut to Wilfred's vicarage. A sense of dusk. Inspector Valentine pulls up in his car, gets out. Father Brown emerges from the vicarage, exchanges a solemn look with Valentine. Then Wilfred emerges, hanging his head, trudges over to the car with Father Brown. Wilfred regards Father Brown with a look full of trepidation and fear.
You've done the right thing.
Wilfred nods weakly. Valentine puts Wilfred into the back seat.
I'd like to ride with him if I may.
I owe you that much.
At least.
Father Brown gets into the car with Wilfred as the inspector starts the engine. Interior Valentine's car traveling. Father Brown, Wilfred, Inspector Valentine. In the backseat, Wilfred hangs his head, quietly weeps. Father Brown puts a hand on his shoulder. Wilfred leaves it there. Fade to black. Cut to.
Oh, we have more.
Hmm?
I thought that was the end, but we got more.
Father Brown, fade up. A beautiful day, birds sing, everything right with the world. Parishioners shuffle into church. Father Brown greets Lady Felicia. She enters wearing another extravagantly feathered hat.
Lady Felicia, you're looking positively radiant. How are your vocal cords this morning?
Oh, ready to delight the congregation with my amazing grace.
Can't wait.
She gives him a fond smile, touches his hand, a grateful gesture, heads inside. Susie approaches the church. Mrs. McCarthy catches up with her, holding a covered dish.
Susie,
What do you think I've done now? Chopped off somebody's head? Father Brown smiles as Mrs. McCarthy offers Susie the dish.
by way of apology for thinking you were a murderer,
Susan covers the plate, revealing the polished noodle dish.
I got one of the girls at the camp to teach me how to make it.
Not bad for Englishwoman.
Irish, and I thank you, I suppose. If you like, I'll teach you how to make my award-winning strawberry scones.
Father Brown chuckles to himself. Seema and Elizabeth arrive.
Mr. and Mrs. Barnes.
Don't get your hopes up, Father. I'm just here for the music.
Then trust me, you're in luck.
As Simeon heads inside, Elizabeth hangs back, regarding Father Brown hesitantly.
Father,
I just wanted to say thank you.
No need.
He holds her hand, gives her a tender smile. Elizabeth heads inside, the last of the congregation. Father Brown about to close the door, but stops for a moment, breathes in the fresh air, listens to the birds sing, enjoys the sunshine on his face. He smiles, closes the door. Crane away from St. Mary's to the sound of Amazing Grace, pristine countryside stretching out into the horizon. End of the episode.
it's amazing.
That was so much fun. And what like how much of the ending was the Julia show? It was,
This
that's
I do that.
yeah. so good. We have so much we can do an accent like we all.
Fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
They're not sir.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And so it's not different. And
There has acting natural more wheels too.
I think I'll make it in the starting piece.
I really like it. Accepting that just like
And also you weekend.
obvious.
yeah, good too. So let's do the seduce the village of Israelite in Gloucestershire, village of Use and Church, in Pian Hall, and Aaron Church. So the same stack and Chamilla.
You make me go okay. It's
It's more 10 from here. There's so much.
The thing I say about the six, I like to the and make Leland in his car. Aimed to support just his after. And the setting was that on much of saying all cars, it's extra has to speak in 1950s via there's high value lobby from the center of people. That's all I'm going to say. The whole church is like that. You're doing it to a lot of you work late time from being or say that. So, yeah, next to the main there be further it's talking about building out apples, they the land and things like there's hopefully in big style. People that not.
If I was to say the piece here,
I just do that now. He's supposed to say well and to catch a lot, but he back say or has some force on the facts. So the using real you river on the literature, you think so crooked and so.
makes G help.
You know these guidance land against what to say about so we to so this is their
Reggie inspect out and leaves to get a cooling water, and it's like was and you take off their I love me feet.
it does
I switch for all this time has said that and sneakers.
yes, those numbers is the country days.
Yeah.
Miss Murray and Thunder on it and Adam Burns and anyone and to
Not good.
like form this. Smartness and make it calories is really real. It's a lot. Isn't an issue. It's ring. That makes traffic.
So go up this video is yeah.
And even right. Yeah. One of us.
Say how about yeah, I'm reading to
That's a thing. It's embarrassing to me. I'm not just saying. You want to work?
I still said that's I not okay. Well, I know you're
Look, that's okay. I'm without and I come to but okay.
That's what I think probably needs to be. And it is I didn't get no sketch.
Right. Well, we'll take up from you and to probably in public works and we'll understand our page with that. I had one thing on your stomach. Well, it's between when everyone here will have big lots of bench and I'm going to start.
Yes, that up there. So it's as smart as this is something like that. No, you know, so I'm going to reach out to the say, yes,
It's for cycling.
That one.
Yeah.